So the next topic is we studied like how to perform filtering. Now we're going to go over some of filtering examples and really see like what filtering means in images. Now before doing that, let's try to understand some basic filters. Now the first one is Gaussian filter, and Gaussian filter, this curve you have seen before. This is a Gaussian curve. All right, it's symmetric across the mean value, and towards the left it becomes 0, towards the right it becomes 0. So it gradually decreases as you move away from the mean. And this is the equation for this Gaussian kernel. So this is one-dimensional. What you can do is you can also have like a two-dimensional Gaussian function. If you try to visualize that, it will look something like this. Okay, so it peaks at the mean. In this case, the mean is like two-dimensional 0 cross 0, the origin of the plane. And again, same to like this 1D Gaussian kernel, it's also decreasing. If you look like at this, yeah, we'll take questions later on.
Okay.
So if you look at this Gaussian kernel from the top, we can actually represent that as a heat map, and the heat map will look something like this. Okay, so what this means is the black value represents completely 0, and the white represents a very highly active value. Right? So you can see that at the center, which was pretty high, we have like it's a high value here, right? So that's the center of this Gaussian. And as we move like towards the outer boundary, the value is actually reducing. And you will see like why this representation is useful. We can create like a two-dimensional kernel using this kind of visualization, where the center value in the Gaussian kernel will be very high, and the values which are far away from the center will be very low. All right. So this two-dimensional Gaussian, again, it's the same equation. Again, you will have just two axes for this. Now, looking at the one-dimensional Gaussian filter, so what we do is we take this Gaussian curve and we discretize the values to create the kernel. And here you can see that this is the center of the Gaussian, and it's 1, which is kind of like the maximum value we can have. And you can see that as we are going towards the left, the value decreases. So we are at 0.6, 0.13. It's almost going to 0. And if we move towards the left, it will be almost 0. And again, if we go towards the right, we can see like it's kind of symmetrical. That's a property of Gaussian. So the values won't change, but again, they will reduce and again, gradually becomes 0. So this is like a discrete Gaussian 1D kernel. Now, similarly, we can form like a two-dimensional kernel for Gaussian. Instead of a vector, it will be a matrix. And again, we'll have a very high value at the center, and the values will gradually reduce as we move away from the center. Now, why Gaussian is this important? So you will see like Gaussians coming up again and again when you have like your statistics course, right? In your probability course, you might have seen this a lot. So one simple example, like the plot I'm showing here, even in the class, like if we take like all the female students, right? And if we will try to measure like the shoe size for them, you will see that if you try to plot a histogram for that, it's going to be a Gaussian. Okay, this is just one example, but if you take like enough number of samples, it will look exactly like a Gaussian. And this is not just true for like female shoe size. Even like in the class, if we just measure like the height of all the students, it is going to be a Gaussian. And most of the times, like the grades we receive, it's very close to Gaussian. Very hard to get at a Gaussian curve, but most of the time it's kind of a Gaussian curve there as well. Okay, so it's like it's a distribution which is it's very natural, and you will see like in your 3D environment all the time. Okay, it's like the most common natural model. And there are a lot of interesting properties of Gaussian function. So first of all, it's a very smooth function. It's symmetric. And again, we'll talk about derivatives later on, why derivatives are important. So one interesting property of Gaussian curves is like you can keep computing derivative of that function, which I was showing you earlier. It's going to be Gaussian every time. Okay. So, and again, if you compute Fourier transform of Gaussian, it's going to be Gaussian. We'll briefly cover this aspect in, I think, one of the lectures. And if you compute convolution of a Gaussian function, like convolution of two different Gaussian functions, again, you will get a Gaussian function. And this is really important property. We have a lecture on this where we'll use like to extract some meaningful features using Gaussian filtering. And this property is like, if you have a 2D kernel, which is, let's say, if it's a Gaussian, then we can perform that 2D convolution operation as two independent 1D convolution operations. And the reason we do that is like 1D convolution operation is very efficient. We'll talk about that as well, so don't worry about it right now. But it's a very interesting property of Gaussian. And this is again just a fact, like we have cells in our eye that actually are performing Gaussian filtering. So earlier we were talking about how noise is introduced in images, right? So then I was saying, what's the true color? And there were a couple of questions. Again, even if we know the true color of, let's say, an object, a chair, right? But again, what we are observing, there can be like a lot of noise in between how we are observing it. Again, it could be like the lighting condition, the light might be very dim, there might be some dust in air, right? So there is natural noise present there, and we have this Gaussian filtering going on when we form this image in a retina. So that filtering operation is being performed to denoise that image.